Hello there everyone. Firstly, as you may tell from my voice, I've had a bit of a cold over the weekend, that's why I didn't upload. So it was a chance to have a little bit of a break and watch all of the news about Syria. Now I don't claim to be an expert on the history and geopolitics of Syria, but from what I've been able to pick up, the toppling of Assad seems to be part of a bigger play. In essence, it's the US and Israel striking a blow against Iran and Russia. Do let me know if you can explain that further in the comments. But as I've said many times on this channel, I'm not too concerned by wars in foreign countries. My main occupation is Europe and the future of the West. So my line on these things tends to be, I wish the rest of the world well, but I don't really want to get involved in any skirmishes. We only seem to make things worse when we do, so I'd rather stay out of it. But I dare say that's a luxury that Westerners like me won't be able to enjoy for too much longer. That's for two reasons. Number one, most global skirmishes, however small they seem on the surface, are usually part of the global order restructuring in some sense. And secondly, and perhaps more importantly, the powers that be have imported half of the world into the West now. So as Westerners, we can continue listening to Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, desperately gripping on to the 60s liberal mindset that created so many of the problems the West now faces, turning up the volume each year to drown out the realities coming from outside our window. What I'm talking to is on your screen right now. This is a Syrian celebration taking place in Trafalgar Square. That was, of course, once the heart of the British Empire. Again on your screen are more Syrians in London. Some people have been claiming these people are terrorist sympathisers. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the point I'm trying to make. We just don't know who these people are in this day and age. Do they like us? Do they hate us? And remember, this is just the Syrians. We have people from all over the world in the UK en masse, each of them with their own political, cultural and ethnic biases that the average Joe has no chance of understanding. Case in point, this footage is apparently from Manchester, where you have two rival Syrian factions squaring up to each other. Again, who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? Are either good guys? I just don't know. Let me know in the comments if you do. But it seems to me if you ask two people, you get two different answers. But this is all part and parcel of living in modern-day multicultural Britain. You don't know who the people are out on the streets half the time. It takes weeks to research the complexities of the issues at hand. A lot of the time people are too busy to do that, and a lot of people are lying in the mainstream media anyway. And if you get something wrong or say something too edgy online, Keir Starmer and his cronies might throw you in jail. The wonders of the modern multicultural Western liberal nation. But we're not alone in this dynamic. On your screen now is footage from Utrecht, that's in the Netherlands, and you can see some Syrians outside the biggest church in the Netherlands there. Also on your screen is footage from Germany. They've taken in quite a lot of Syrian quote-unquote refugees, and also footage from Stockholm in Sweden. They've taken in masses too, of course. Now, given we've seen such jubilation from Syrians across Europe, it's led to the obvious question, when are the Syrians going home? Well, I think we got the answer to that when an Irishman asked a Syrian in Ireland when he's going back.
It's free now. So is it free now? How is it free now?
So, finally. So now does that mean all you go back to Syria now?
The economic situation isn't correct.
Okay. So economic reasons, you're in Ireland, economic reasons.
Of course they're not going back. As much as our liberal class have tried to browbeat Westerners into believing that our countries are hellscapes for anyone who's not European, we all know that our countries are peaceful and prosperous, and that's why lots of third world migrants want to come here. But as the saying goes, if you import the third world, you'll tend to become the third world. Our leaders don't seem to recognise that. They seem to think they can import people from every corner of the earth with their ethnic, religious and cultural grievances, and everyone's going to get on swimmingly and go to Pride March in a couple of years. For years now, if you point out any of these problems, our elite will call you a racist. They will say that you're not tolerant enough like them with their big hearts and their big brains. But what can we learn from all of this? Well, firstly, I made a video a while back on World War III being unlikely, and that's because war these days tends to be proxy wars, such as the situation in Syria, wars that never really start and never really end. But the main point to make is the underlying confusion the Western world will now face. People are on their streets and we don't know if they're good guys, bad guys or what. Well, that's bad news for Europe, which is famous for its pleasant streets and warm atmosphere. It is quite good news for the power structures that rule over us. After all, they prefer a confused mass of humanity, people who are frightened and will stay inside on the whole. They're a lot easier to control than a confident and coherent people and culture. These are just my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new.